if you want to start building names for the next bull market, I'm hearing a lot of talk about enterprise software, software as a service, I think they're calling it, something along those lines. Salesforce.com, we talked about that one the other day. It's a Dow stock, so you can see the W trying to form there. We are down at the bottom end of the range. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we had like key reversal signals and stuff here recently. I don't really see anything. There was one there. That didn't really translate into too much of a rally, though, did it? Then we pulled back again. I suppose with the Nasdaq as weak as it is, maybe we're trying to form a bottom here. I suppose, just let that big honking W actually confirm. I'd probably also say too, this is probably a good example of our LJ. Leanne, if you're out there somewhere in the world. Maybe see it better. Maybe go like a weekly chart. Oh, there it is. So something along those lines. Can I get a W on the other side of this trend line, please? You might have something to work with. But I did find it interesting that the CRM is basically in the same basket as this guy. And I think today they had like 4 different firms all upgrade the stock. I don't know. I mean, I looked at the actual stock fundamentals, and I'll tell you, I'm not overly impressed. But remember, I'm a value guy. I do not like paying up for these things. 300 million shares out, so you can't say this thing's light. Insiders own almost nothing of it, and they're actually getting out, so that can't be good. Institutions own a load of this, so good old William O'Neill, he would say this is not what we want to be investing in. EPS this year minus 20%, so nothing really to get excited about there. Sales quarter over quarter up 84%. EPS next year is expected to rise 100%. EPS quarter over quarter here up 24%. It'll be interesting to see whether they actually bring that in. Not carrying any debt. That's good to see. I don't really like these numbers. 8.5 times book value you're buying into this company. There is no earnings now because they're losing money. And if they do actually perform on their earnings, they're going to be 372 times earnings. That seems awfully expensive, doesn't it? I mean, these numbers, 8.5 times book value, 11.5 times cash. They only have $17 and the goddamn stock's $143. So, this unfortunately is Brian's a cheap ass, and I hate overpaying for stocks. So that's what this to me looks like is, yeah, they're probably going to be growing, and look at all these wonderful analyst upgrades, and oh my God, everything's awesome. Look at this. Near flawless execution, NAB stock another upgrade, right? Stock market movers, another upgrade. Its fundamentals are rock solid. Is Snowflake a buy right now? Rises pre-market. Enterprise software stocks, Snowflake. Datadog, I guess that's another one we should look at. No idea what these guys do. This thing any better? 300 million shares out. These things aren't light at all. No, why is there no, if these stocks are so wonderful, why do insiders own like none of them? At least the EPS 38%, sales 82%, EPS quarter over quarter 170%. At least everybody, oh yeah, Brian, I don't like investing in companies with a lot of debt. Oh, look at these numbers. This is insane. How on earth does somebody look at a stock that's trading 30 times book value, 416 times price earnings growth rate, and they actually call, I don't get this, near flawless execution, lands the stock another upgrade, and they're these things, they're next best thing since sliced bread. I don't get it. I just don't understand this. Let's see if that data dog. So these guys over here, February of 22, Goldman, Key Bank, they came in with buy ratings. How did that do? So that's February here. Oh man, they got looking like idiots. I don't know, man. I mean, it's something that I think if we want to keep an eye on. I'm constantly thinking right now, who is going to be the next leading sector? Because I remember distinctly coming out of the dot-com boom, nothing did anything. And then all of a sudden, oil started to weekly W and break out to the upside, and commodities like copper started to W and break out to the upside. And then the news was that China were officially doing this deal. China is going to officially build out its economy and its society into the 2008 Olympics. So that was a meaty story that you could sink your teeth in. And then, of course, with the way the interest rates were, and everybody got upset at Alan Greenspan for jacking short-term interest rates down when they should have been going up. And so that caused the bubble in the housing market. So we started to see housing stocks all break out on a weekly and monthly basis. And so that was a good leading indicator. So, and, I mean, if you invested in the commodity story through the George Bush years, you did extremely well. And of course, we all know about the silly housing market and that nonsense. So I'm constantly listening for what is the sectors going forward that are going to kick it. And I'm hearing, I don't like this price chart. That looks like, and we all know that this thing is a buy when it W's on the other side of these trend lines. That could be forever down the road. And then this one, I mean, at least that's got a very steep trend line. So getting a W on the other side of that trend line is realistic. As well, too, that is a Joby gap set up there. And the fact that we did trade through the top, 120.60. This bar's high was 154. I beg your pardon, 152.02. This bar's high is 154.62. So we did actually confirm the Joby gap setup. But kind of like, Ethereum and stuff, what I see here is this is going to be a dead cat bounce rally just back into resistance levels, right? Probably fill in these gaps right here, test this high, test that low right up into there. That wouldn't surprise me one bit. And then on the dip down this fall, kind of like what we talked about with Sjord, it's the same logic. And I think actually the crypto markets and the stock markets are all heavily, heavily intertwined now. I do believe crypto is now made it. It is part of our mainstream vernacular. So just get used to it. And so as a result, it should move in lockstep with like the tech sector. But I could very easily see a rally up into here. Then into that October, November, we want to watch that low like a hawk. If we hold that low, then we turn back up and away we go. So hopefully you all can see. I think there's a potential head and shoulders forming here. Like I said, there is a Joby gap set up there that did actually fire bullishly there. It's just fundamentally, man, I don't like the look of these things. It's not something that I like. You know me. If I want to invest in a stock, I want to see 20 to 30 million out. I want to see insiders are long. If it's venture cap, then I want to see options to directors. If it's bigger stocks like this, I actually want to see insider ownership. I don't want to see any debt. So this guy actually is good. That data dog, don't like that debt scenario at all. This one doesn't have any debt, so that's okay. I'd like to see EPS growth rates and stuff that are kind of like CanSlimmy, 25% growth, that kind of stuff. Here, I do not want to pay 8.5 times book value for a stock. Like, that's crazy. I don't know how people can say fundamentally this thing looks solid. This thing looks like a train wreck to me. So I'm skeptical. I mean, maybe we can put together some sort of beautiful rally. Notice if you drew a trend line off of these peaks and then waited for bullish structure over here on the other side, big outside upside reversal, right? Just free flow rally straight up top. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe these analysts are smoking crack or something. I was kind of hoping, and this is what I really want to see, is I want to see some sort of leadership in the market. And until we actually start getting the weekly W's and leadership, man, I would be damn skeptical of everything in this market right now.